Hey everybody, I'm going to give you some more specific details about the Chinese philosophy activity. I don't know who all worked on it at all yesterday or if you did it all, but there's two options, and there's kind of the pink purple version and there's the yellow version. It doesn't really matter which one you're working with because the idea is still the same. The idea is to rephrase or explain the sayings and put them pretty much in your own words. In order to do that, you really have to kind of look in depth. So I'm going to open up both of them again real quick and go through. But you have 8 quotes from Confucius if you have kind of that pink purple paper. And then you have 8 quotes from Lao Tzu if you have the yellow paper. So again, they're both early Chinese philosophers that have a lot of different kinds of well known quotes or sayings. Um, what I'm going to do with you all real quick is just go through each one of them. So, like the Confucius people, if you're one of those people that has the purple paper or the pink paper, what I'm going to do is just go through you all's real quick. I'm not going to explain them. I'm not going to like give you the answers, obviously, but I'm going to read them. And then if there's any word in there that I know is going to give people some trouble, then I'll just go ahead and stress that. But then that's going to be up to you all to actually rewrite them and or rephrase them or explain. Okay. And obviously, if you guys are working on it in class, there might be people around you that are working on the same one. So if you guys are gonna kind of tag ideas off of each other, that's fine. But I'm gonna start with Confucius first, and I'll just go uh, kind of almost like I'm reading a paragraph. Not that the order really matters, but real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Okay, so already you guys in this group, you have kind of a tricky one. But the word ignorance is not knowing something. Okay, it doesn't mean like stupid or anything necessarily. It just means not knowing something. Like if you're ignorant of the answer, that means you don't really know the answer. So this quote again is saying real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. So obviously one apostrophe s is a possessive. So they're kind of talking internally about somebody thinking about themselves. So take a while on that one. This one here is pretty well known, but you all can explain it in your own words. And think about this in school. Okay, this is very school appropriate quote. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. So doing doesn't just mean like I do. It means like actually doing something, perhaps. Okay. Third one here, you got to think about the concept of just being quiet. Okay, not utter silence, but they're just saying maybe in a conversation or in your own life. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. So think about that one. For wherever you go, go with all your heart. That one seems pretty straightforward. This is a well-known one as well. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. All right. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. All right. Second last one for you guys. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. And then last but not least here for you guys, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Okay. So for you all, again, on this particular page, you're rephrasing or explaining what each of them is trying to get at. Okay. So the yellow group, I'm going to jump over here with you guys as well, real fast. Um, Lao Tzu is a different philosopher, but there's similar undertones, similar themes, depending on how you look at these. Okay. And some of these you have to take literal, like it's literally talking about something. And then others, like the one about water and the one about the ant, they're figurative, right? You got to think about the situation and then how that actually applies to humanity. Okay. Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. Okay, so think about that one in depth because he's not literally talking about water. I mean, he's using water as a metaphor, but you can kind of think of what you believe it's talking about. This is an easy one. The second one is pretty well known. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Third one, silence is a source of great strength. So this is very comparable to the silence one over here with Confucius, but they both have something to do with uh, not necessarily silence per se, but talking less, if you want to think of it that way. Okay, fourth one, mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. All right. The word anticipate here, most of you all already know what that means, but anticipate means to wait for something, but be prepared for it. Okay. So if you're anticipating something, like you're ready for it, but you're just waiting. Okay. Anticipate the difficult by managing the easy. All right. Great acts are made up of small deeds. Great acts are made up of small deeds. Okay, here's one of those again that you're going to have to take kind of figuratively and not literally, but let's just see what you guys think. An ant on the move does more than a dozing ox. Okay, dozing mean like sleeping. Okay, so again, think of it figuratively, what they're getting at. But an ant on the move does more than a sleeping ox. Okay, last one here. To lead people, walk behind them. So think about that one. Okay, talking about leading people, but to lead people, walk behind them. All right. So for both groups, again, the idea is that you're going to rephrase this. Okay, rephrasing or explaining, and you guys can definitely, depending on the time you have conversation in class about what you think it is, or people can share out. But however you guys want to operate, depending on the schedule and everything else. But whichever paper you're given is perfectly okay. It does not matter. There's not an easier one or a more difficult one. They pretty much are on the same level. And again, if you can fit your explanation on the back, that's fine because it should be lined. But if you have to use filler for extra space, that's perfectly understandable. But again, you guys are going to rephrase or explain, kind of put in your own words what each of these mean. And you definitely don't have to do both. Okay, so nobody should be doing the purple paper and the yellow. It's just one and that's it. Okay, so hopefully everybody's doing well and let's stay safe. And I'll talk to you all soon, hopefully by the end of this week. All right, see ya.